What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the Sixers Digest YouTube channel. My name is Sean Barnard. I want to begin by wishing all of you guys a happy Thanksgiving out there. Hope you're enjoying all the turkey with your family. And today I want to share my thanks on what I'm thankful for with this Philadelphia 76ers team. So I want to give my top 5 reasons for what I'm thankful with this team, with this organization, talk a little bit about why for each guy. So stick with me for this video. I want to begin by kicking things off right at the top with a guy that should not be a surprise, and that is Tyrese Maxi. Now, the reason I wanted to start with Tyrese Maxi is the number one thing that I'm thankful for with this Sixers team is for a couple different reasons. Number one is I mean no exaggeration when I say that he extended the championship window for this team. That if there's not a Tyrese Maxi waiting in the wing to toss the keys to this franchise to, as we had been through the Ben Simmons, the James Harden, the Jimmy Butler, all these eras of searching for Joel Embiid's next co-star, if Tyrese Maxi was not waiting in the wing, there is a much bleaker outlook for this franchise. And that does not even include the fact of the process to get Tyrese Maxi. Think about if Mike Muscala not knocking down that meaningless three-pointer in the bubble for that draft pick to fall to the 21st pick to become the possession of the Sixers, that draft pick that originally was traded in the deal, sending Markelle Fultz away from the Sixers. It is such a full circle moment, and to see him to flourish into everything that each of these guys the Sixers have attempted to bring in before, everything that they hope those players could be is becoming Tyrese Maxi is just such a treat to watch. And I mean, to talk about his specific progression and look at his stats here, you just don't see growth like this as a player. To go from an 8-point scorer to a 17.5 point scorer, then a 20.3 point scorer, and then a 27 point per game scorer so far this year. That not even taking into account the playmaking elite, that doubling his assist turnovers from 3.5 last year to 7.0 this year, all while keeping his turnovers down, only going from 1.3 to 1 turnovers per game last year to 1.4 so far this year. This is while he is leading the NBA in minutes as a whole. He's also leading all point guards in assist to turnover ratio. Some really mature stuff. We're seeing the growth of Tyrese Maxi before our very eyes. And beyond just the basketball court, that he does it with a smile on his face. He brings a personality day in and day out. He's a guy that gives back to the community. He's very involved with Philadelphia. Had a chance to take in his turkey drive here in Philly at George Washington Carver High School. See him hand out those turkeys to families in need. He just gets it from start to finish. He's exactly what you could possibly hope for a guy to represent your franchise, and I'm incredibly thankful that he's doing it for the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, to swing into my reason number two, another one that should not be a surprise here, and it is Joel Embiid. None of this happens without Joel Embiid. He is the process. He is an era of Sixers basketball. He is the guy that stuck it out. That we're talking about a guy who's lived through over 150 teammates. He's on his third head coach. He's had 4 general managers at this point in time. He's had a GM talking bad about him on burner accounts on Twitter. He's had so many co-stars walk out of the door, not want to coexist, not want to participate and be a part of Philadelphia. And through it all, Joel Embiid has just stuck to the grind, continued to get better, and elevated into the MVP player that he currently is. That is super impressive stuff. And to do it in the way that he does, with his little trolling antics, the way that he's embraced Philadelphia, we know these celebrations. It's been cool to see the evolution of Joel Embiid, both as a player and as a person. As a person, that we've seen him mature from the guy that was shooting his shot at Kim Kardashian before he ever stepped on an NBA floor to now the guy that is very polished as a leader, a guy that has a much more intelligent outlook on the game, both from a basketball standpoint and just a mature handling of media questions, things like that. And then as a basketball player, it is night and day from when this guy first came in the NBA, or at least since he was in college. That I do think he was a very huge beneficiary of having his first 2 years where he was able to heal up from that foot injury, work on his skills. The Sixers were clearly in tank mode at that point in time, so it was able to take his time, polish his skills, and it clearly translated. But I am thankful for Joel Embiid that none of this happens without him, and we are in full rebuild mode if he's not committed. And my last point for Joel specifically, and why I'm thankful and grateful for him, is in the era of today's modern NBA, we see stars hop more than anywhere. That Embiid has ample reasons why he could have hit that trade request button, walked in that office and say, I want out of Philly. And he never has. He's stuck with it. He's been a part of this. He is a part of this city, a part of this franchise, and I could not be happier that he is the face of this Sixers team. To move to reason number 3, we have James Harden. Now stick with me here before you click up on this video. I got a couple directions that I'm going to go with this. Let me just start with the start to finish of what James Harden did for this Sixers organization. Number one is he was the release valve from the Ben Simmons hostage situation, that the Sixers were going through their own nonsense of Ben Simmons holding out, that Daryl Morey was going on the radio airwaves talking about we can do this for 4 more years, that he's under contract, I'm not trading him until my price point is hit. Then James Harden begins his antics out there in Brooklyn. Daryl Morey is ultimately able to make the deal, make the trade, and get James Harden to Philly. Now, did it result in a championship or them getting closer? No, it did not. But did it give them a fighting chance that they otherwise would not have? It absolutely did. That James Harden still progressed this franchise. That the Tyrese Maxi that I just spoke about on the rapid development that he had, that does not happen if he does not see the way that James Harden goes about things. Things like his step back three that we're seeing on a regular basis, his playmaking development, the way he hits the pocket pass with Joel Embiid. Shout out to James Harden for showing him the ropes with that. I'm not saying James Harden took Tyrese Maxi after practice and said, look, you have to do it like that. But it matters when you're learning behind a guy who is that level of generational talent that even with all Harden's flaws, you cannot deny his basketball IQ, the savvy that he has, and the way that he plays the game, and the outlook for the way that he can make decisions throughout the course of a matchup. That is stuff that I think he took in. Now, to move past that, we then saw James Harden crumble in the playoffs. Things went downhill. They did lose to the Celtics once again, which was very frustrated. And then there was the open blow-up between James Harden and Doc Rivers. That ultimately resided in Doc Rivers being fired, which was the best thing for the Sixers, and I'm going to circle back to this in a second. So thank you to James Harden for that. Then move even further is we do get the James Harden trade to happen, that he does find his way to the Clippers, that this temper tantrum, this game plan to force his way out, it worked. He made his way to LA. And in return, the Sixers stocked their closets full of assets. They got multiple picks. They're in a better position now. You allowed the Sixers team time to evaluate what they're truly missing, and that is the process of what the Sixers are in right now. Is they are 10-5. They were off to a hot start to the season. That we can see Tyrese Maxi taking these leaps and bounds in his development. Joel Embiid still being that guy, but there are still questions about what the missing pieces on this team are. So now they are not in a rush. They don't have this voice in their ear of James Harden saying, trade me, I want out of here. That they have all these assets to work with and plenty of time to evaluate what to do. They have time to wait until more players become available once we hit some certain deadlines for guys that sign contracts in the offseason. So thank you to James Harden for giving the best possible outcome for the Sixers, and the vibes are certainly higher since he has left, so I'm very thankful for that as well. To swing into reason number 4 here, it is Nick Nurse. That, as I spoke about, Doc Rivers was fired. We spent 3 seasons with Doc Rivers, failed to make it past the second round in all 3 of those seasons. And for the first time in quite some time, the Sixers have a coaching advantage in every single night. I truly believe Nick Nurse is among the most elite coaches in the NBA, even little things like the way he draws up after timeout plays. And I know that he missed this play here, but this finish by Maxi is a perfect example of the way that Nick Nurse uses Joel Embiid as a decoy. He brings the big man away from the basket and creates an opportunity for Tyrese Maxi. Now, it is unfortunate that this shot does not go in, but I do think this is a testament to the type of basketball intelligence that Nick Nurse possesses and the ability to create easy looks for his best players in a way that this Sixers roster and Sixers team as a whole has not had in many years. So shout out to Nick Nurse. I'm very excited by the different wrinkles that we're seeing on both sides of the ball. The defense looks more intimidating, the way that they're swarming, the way that they're trapping. Offensively, there's more motion, there's more cutting. It has revolutionized this Sixers offense and defense in ways that I was not sure was possible, and we're seeing him get more out of the same talent. So thank you to Nick Nurse. I am thankful. This is a guy that with a proven track record already has a championship ring on his finger. He did it in the first year in Toronto, and we will see what happens here in Philly. And to move to my 5th and final reason today for what I am thankful for regarding the Philadelphia 76ers, it is this guy right here, Daryl Morey. That no, he's not perfect. He has swung and missed for sure, but this is a guy that I know is confident, staring down the barrel and never blinking. That he has ultimately won the deal with a Ben Simmons trade, with a James Harden trade, and that they now sit in a position with these assets with a chance to identify what this team is missing, and he is going to be the guy sitting there looking for that final move. While Daryl Morey has his flaws, once again, I do trust him to be the guy to find this finishing product. That he is as hungry as anyone to get that championship ring on his finger. That is the lone thing escaping his legacy. For as revolutionary as he has been with reinforcing three-pointers, these different styles of play, all these things, that Morey wants that championship box checked next to his name as well. This is his best opportunity to do it, potentially his last opportunity to do it, depending on how much longer he wants to stick around. But I am thankful for the way that he's navigated some really tough situations so far. He has ultimately come out on top of both the Ben Simmons and the James Harden trade request situations and managed to keep Joel Embiid on the same page and the rest of the Sixers organization staying afloat as well. So I am thankful for Daryl Morey. I understand he has his critics for sure, but I'm thankful for what he's done so far. I believe that he can find a way to get this team even further, and I'm super grateful that he is the guy. He's regarded in a super high regard around the NBA, and for good reason. That there are teams that if I saw a call from Daryl Morey, I simply would not answer because I knew I would be taken advantage of. But I'm thankful that he still finds a way to get through, gets a job done, and I expect that he has a couple more tricks up his sleeve before this year's trade deadline. Thank you guys for tuning into this video. I want to hear your top comments for what you're thankful for regarding the Sixers team in the comments here. Is it Jaden Springer? Is it Paul Reed? There's plenty of other options that I could have gone with. I just wanted to rip off my top 5 here, but I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button right here on Sixers Digest. Helps us out. We got a ton of big plans for the season. We are in full swing now and want to keep it rolling, so keep the Digest family growing. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in this video. Enjoy your leftover turkey and stuffing, and I will talk with you next time. Peace.